Good day folks, Sean here from Air Photography. So this is the third video I've made about my issue with range with the DJI Mini 3 Pro. And in this video I'm actually going to be able to offer a reason why I'm having a range problem and why many other people in North America are having range problems, and a temporary fix that will allow you to get at least double if not triple the range. Again, I want to thank Brad for pointing out this issue and offering a workaround. It's really nice when the community can come together and offer solutions when problems like this pop up. Now I want to stress again, like I have in all my other videos, I'm not saying that the Mini 3 in general is having range issues. What I'm saying is some units, including mine, are definitely having some range problems. But just from polls that I have done, talking to different people in the comments, and other polls that other people have made, it seems it could be anywhere from 20 to 30% of the units. Now for those who aren't aware, if you're maybe new to drones, I'm going to explain what's going on here. There's two different modes, I guess you could call it, when it comes to transmission. There's the CE mode and the FCC mode. The FCC mode is what we follow here in North America, Canada, and the US, and there's other countries around the world that follow FCC as well. In many European countries, they have to go by the CE regulations. And basically, the difference between FCC and CE is the strength of the signal. It's a lot lower for the CE version. I'm not sure of the exact numbers, but it is fairly considerable. So what's happening with some North American units, when you first turn the drone on, it's in FCC mode, but for some reason, once it acquires a home point, it automatically bumps it into CE mode, so we're not getting the proper signal strength. Now, up until last week, the workaround was you could power the drone off. When it powered back on and reconnected to the controller, it would stay locked in FCC mode. But after last week's firmware update, that no longer works. But you can still lock your drone into FCC mode just by covering it, and I'm going to show you that here in a demonstration. So I'm just going to power the drone on here, and I'm going to show you what to look for to see if your drone is going into CE mode, and that perhaps is the reason why you're having poor range. So I have the drone powered on here, and you can see I have 0 satellites connected, and that's because we're indoors. So if we go over to our transmission signal, right now the drone and the controller are communicating in FCC mode, and we can tell that by looking at that -90 line. If you notice, it's just slightly under where it says 1 kilometer, and that's the way it should stay for FCC mode. It should never move. But what's happening here to some units in North America, once it acquires enough satellites, for some reason it bumps it down to CE mode, and I'm going to show you a screen capture here. You'll see that line, that -90 line, move exactly parallel with that 1 kilometer. Once it does that, that means it's in CE mode. So I'll just show you a clip here of that happening. In this clip here, I'm outside and I power the drone on, and as you can see there, it is starting in FCC mode. But once it sets the home point, you can see that line change, and that's it bumping into CE mode. So at that point, we're not going to have as much power for range, even penetration around obstacles such as trees and different things like that. So what you can do to force the drone back into FCC mode is power the drone off, keep your controller powered on, and all you want to do is cover the drone with something. And what that does is it still allows the drone to get the satellites, but at a much slower rate. What I was doing is just laying the controller over the drone like that, powering on the controller, and just waiting a few minutes. I'm going to show you a demonstration of that here. But now what we have to do is restart the drone, and we're going to cover it so it captures GPS a little bit slower, and we can use the controller to do that. And then I'll show you, when you do it that way, you can still get your home point, but it will stay locked in the FCC mode. And then after that, we're going to do a distance test. So let's go ahead. I'm going to power off the aircraft. Now I'm going to power it on again. This time I'm going to put my controller over the drone, and again we're going to let it boot up and start to try and acquire satellites. So you can see it's connected there now. Let's go over to our transmission tab. So you can see there now it's in FCC mode because that -90 line is just below the 1 kilometer, and that's where it needs to stay in order to be in FCC mode. So we're just going to let it sit for a little bit. We're going to let it get its home point. So you can see there it's acquired its home point now, but as you notice, this time it didn't switch. It's still in FCC mode. So I'm just going to give it a few more minutes there, and then we're going to go do a range test again, this time in FCC mode. If you watch any of my other videos, this location that I'm at, it's fairly open. There's not a lot of trees once I get it up in the air. At some points I was getting disconnected at 300 meters, but I was also getting just a low, like where it goes into the red or the orange, even after 100 to 150 meters. The farthest I've been able to get at this location is 600 meters before a complete disconnect. So that should be good. As you can see there, we're still in FCC mode. So I'm going to take the controller off the drone. As you can see, we have our full 20 satellites. We'll just double check, and my home point is set. Let's check the transmission again. As you can see there, yes, we are still in FCC mode. So let's go ahead, we'll put the drone up here. So there we go there, 100 meters. So let's head out and we'll see what kind of range difference we get. I may speed up this point just so we don't have to sit through this for too terribly long. And somebody's cutting grass over there. Hopefully they're not gonna make me move and ruin my test, but I guess we'll see. So you can see right now I'm at 300 meters, and definitely by now I would be getting, the RC strength would be popping down into the yellow and orange. And so far it's holding solid. And I believe in my last test, the one I posted, it was right around here, right around just over 600 meters, it completely disconnected. But as you can see, I'm now well past that, and the strength meter hasn't even moved at all. So this is indeed definitely the problem. If you're in North America and you're having range problems, that's most likely because it is popping back down to the CE mode. The nice thing about this though, however, is that this does appear now to be a software problem, so DJI should be able to fix it with a firmware update. So that's basically what's going on. I don't know if that's the problem that everybody is having. And I know some people in Europe who are under the CE model, they're having range problems too, so there could be something a little bit more in depth to it. But what that shows me is that perhaps everything that is going on with range problems is just a software issue, and hopefully can be fixed with a firmware update from DJI. Now I've opted just to go with a replacement unit. I contacted DJI and put in a request. As long as you're within 15 days of activation and your unit's defective, you can get a replacement unit. The reason I opted to get a replacement unit is just for the fact that there is something going on with it. And like I said, it most likely can be fixed with firmware, but when that firmware update will come, who knows? It could come tomorrow, but it could come 6 months from now. And really with summer being here, I don't want to mess around with trying to keep it covered, forcing it back into FCC mode all the time. So I'm just going to opt to go to a new unit, and hopefully I get one where this isn't an issue. Now definitely, if you have been having range problems, go in and check that out to see if yours is indeed being bumped back into CE mode, and follow that little trick and see if you can get better range. Come back and let me know down in the comments how that worked for you. Again, I want to thank Brad for pointing out this issue and offering a workaround. It's really nice when the community can come together and offer solutions when problems like this pop up. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and got some value out of it. Give it a thumbs up if you did. It's always greatly appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. And we'll see you in the next one.